And we are live. Hello to all my BC WrestlePod nerds out there. And welcome to another rendition of the Friday Night Faction Review, your weekly WWE Smackdown review team, squad, whatever you want to call us. I am your host, Mikey, also known as El Jefe around these BC WrestlePod parts. I am the sheriff. I am the Grand Poobah. I am the master, kind of. Not really.
Grand Poobah. You went all the way to Grand Poobah. All right.
Nice.
Very good. Very good.
Shark bait. Ooh ha ha.
Poobah.
And
Well
joining me, I love it. And joining me this week is the trio is back together once again. I'm still in the process of talking to Nick. Hopefully he can join us next week too. But the original trio is back. First and foremost, you can find him all over here on the SmackDown reviews and the Dynamite reviews. And coming up this week, you can find him doing amazing Chat GPT promos. More on that a little bit later. But the professor is in the house.
Hey, thank you for the shout. Yeah, first episode of Chat GPT wrestling promos. Hopefully up this week. We'll see if we got to do some quick editing and make sure it passes all the censorship we have here. That's a lie. This was I don't know how I feel about the SmackDown. Maybe you could talk me one way or another about it. There were some things in here that should be memorable, that should be awesome heading into SummerSlam. A lot of stuff just kind of fell flat, and some of the hesitation. There's this hesitation, heady bug going through WWE. It feels like, and all these matches had a lot of moments of where am I? Where are you? Where am I going? What am I doing? Are you ready? Are you this? Like consistently, which was really odd. I'm not sure what that could be, but I'm excited to talk about it.
And of course, rounding out our lovely trio of panelists is the one and only Miniford, who you can also find him. Well, he's kind of in a situation where he's fighting Senior Luchador, and Senior Luchador is currently in a war with El Buntador. Yeah. But yeah, Mini, I don't know what's going on with your friend, man. Like El Buntador and
friends.
Your acquaintance.
Yeah, your friend who locked you in a basement for like a month.
Call him a friend? It's a fucking tyrant was that one is.
We're far enough in. That's okay. I don't know, Minnie. I don't know what's going on, man. But the luchadors are about to collide, and I don't know how I'm going to handle it.
I'm putting my money on El Buntador.
Well,
I mean, yeah.
So the BC WrestlePod's about to have its own pay-per-view. Just kidding.
You know why? Because we wanted to.
Be sure to check out that RPG we got coming in the winter, folks. It's gonna get real.
I am so excited. So spoiler alert, stay tuned for that, because that will be coming early 2025 when we record those in December. So those are gonna be fun. I can't wait. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
Because we wanted to.
Yes. And that is the reason why we're gonna review this Smackdown, because we wanted to. But
did we want to?
No, not really. If this was our old rules, you wouldn't even be touching the SmackDown.
This is for those
there
of
were
you
some
remember,
positives though.
Yeah,
for sure.
A year ago we had this whole thing where if it's not above 3 empanadas, or at the time 2 out of 5 minis when we had the mini scale, but we converted, we weren't even going to touch it. This one's the closest we've been to that in a while.
I will say that this SmackDown was average, but we'll dive deep into that a little bit. But we kick off SmackDown this week. We get a lengthy recap of the 6-man tag at Money in the Bank. I was like, damn, I forgot this was barely like less than a week ago. I was like, it feels like it's been longer than that.
But they're really good at editing these promos to make you realize you've already watched it, and then as you watch the recap, you feel like you forgot it. Right? Like, I watched this happen. Did I watch this happen? I must have watched this happen.
I did watch this happen, and then I was like, wow, so much wrestling happens in a week. Everything kind of blurs together. But once we get this recap, we get our first in-ring promo. This is from Tiffy time, your new Miss Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton, with the briefcase. Still mad it's not pink yet, but there's still time on all that. Yeah, but Tiffany cuts the typical Money in the Bank promo, and I forgot that she is the youngest Miss Money in the Bank in this company's history. I was like, you go, Tiffany, breaking records like that.
Yeah.
And she basically names drops that any champion, whether it's Bayley, Liv, or even Roxanne, who holds the NXT Women's Championship, they better watch their backs because Tiffy time is about to come very soon, which then prompts Bayley to interrupt. And then this is where it slowly goes downhill for me. I was like, Bayley, I love you, girl, but this promo was not it.
She
tried.
During the height of Damage Control, we talked about like her issues and having a hard time on the mic, even when it's scripted, right? Her trying to riff, she's pretty okay. She's really cardboard out there, and I'm not sure if she's just in her head or her film promo stuff backstage is usually really good and pretty solid. When she goes heads up here one-on-one with the mic, it was not as captivating as one would hope.
Yeah, I mean, I love Bayley, but it's really tough for her on the mic. And then
I love Bayley.
I love Bayley too, but this promo wasn't it. And then it got more crowded because then Nia Jax comes to interrupt Bayley, who came to interrupt Tiffany, and Nia just threw caution to the wind because this promo was also really crazy. Like, she said she's not the hugger Bayley, but she called out that Bayley is now in the BBL era of Bayley. And I saw the cameraman. He went down a little bit and then came back up and was like, "You dirty people."
He thought about it, didn't he? He thought about it, but didn't.
And then, Tiffany is her personal Barbie doll, but at SummerSlam, Bayley will be her victim, and she's going to victimize Bayley. I'm like, I don't think those are the correct choice of words, but I understand where we're coming from.
Yeah, sure.
And then, both Tiffany and Nia attack Bayley, which then prompts Michin to come out for the save again.
Right. I don't hate that Michin is sort of being... I'm glad that Michin's being used because Michin's fantastic and talented and swings that kendo stick like she gonna kill you. So I have no problem with that. My issue was that she did not work great with Nia. There was some miscues here. There was a lot of waiting to go. And I don't think it was on Michin. There were these moments where Nia Jax seemed like she was a little lost or just a step behind. It felt more to me like they were told, all right, go out there. You're going to cut this promo. You got a 6-minute match. And she thought it was like 2. And all of a sudden there was like, oh, I have to fill time. It's like, no, you got 6 minutes. Come on.
I wonder if they're doing more like freeform with their matches where the wrestlers are deciding what to do in the ring to put something on instead of being super, we're doing this, then this, sure, then this, then this, then this. I wonder if Triple H is being a little like, you have 6 minutes to do something.
And some wrestlers are fantastic at that. And some really struggle. We'll
talk about a certain Aussie who struggled during this match.
Yes, we will talk about that because that was like, what in the hell? I know you're better than that.
I know, it's just crazy. But before we get into our actual first match, a couple things happen. We get a recap of some of the moments from the women's Money in the Bank, including Lyra and Naomi looking like they smacked the back of their heads on the ladders, and Zoe started dying after that DDT from Io at the top of the ladder.
Yeah,
which was crazy to see. But then we cut to probably the highlight person of SmackDown right now. We see Chelsea Green in her bedazzled purple neck braids with Piper like pushing Byron Saxton to the wind. It's like, nah, we don't want to answer these questions because they are here to talk to Nicholas the Prickleus, as she calls him. Nick Aldis to, figure out what to do next and what. Chelsea is so good. Like, she is fantastic.
I love Chelsea Green.
We were talking before we started. I do think you can tell when some of these wrestlers have that personality and delivery and charisma to go to Hollywood or make movies or do other things, and she totally has it. You could put her anywhere. An agent would snatch her up and get her on who knows what show if she ever wanted to pivot. It's all her segments. Later on, we'll talk about the other segment, which is hysterical too. So she's killing it.
She absolutely is. I love Chelsea. Go her. We'll talk about it, which leads into our first match of the evening. This is Michin versus Nia Jax. I didn't hate this match, but there was a lot of start and stop and like waiting for cues and moments. I was like,
Like I was saying, yeah, it's just I'm not sure what they thought they were gonna do or what they were gonna do. Even Bailey and Tiffany on the outside looked a little lost. Kind of like, where are we going?
They were in their head trying to figure out how to serve as like outside cheerleader. I was like, y'all have done this before. What is happening?
And I'm not saying Naya's not safe because she's come a long way since, accidentally breaking noses and all the heat she got. She does that squash, that Yokozuna thing from the second rope. She lands on Michin, excuse me. I gotta get better at my pronunciation. And like you see her face go, like she got her a little too much. And Michin's like, oh, just wait. Like she went a little too far into the ribs and whatever. So it's a tough move to do. Looks like it hurt.
It did. I will say though, Michin probably had my favorite move of the match, and good on Naya for selling it very well when she did the assisted rope DDT, and Naya like sold that thing crazy.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was like, I love that. That's her finisher. It's fantastic. But ultimately, Nia Jax is the winner here. She picks up the victory. There's a fight that breaks out. Tiffany and Nia attack Bailey once again, and then Tiffany's true colors start showing because she thought about and almost cashed in her briefcase to take out Bailey until Nia's stopped her and was like, what are you doing?
You could hear every quivering fanboy on the internet going, no, all angry about the case. But we need the case for as long as we can because of that. And I was kind of hoping she would do it right then and there just to set fire to the wrestling community. But no, that did not happen.
But you know what? I like that Tiffany's not waiting forever to start teasing it. She's like, no, if the opportunity presents itself, I'm not mad. Go get the bag, girl. Get that title.
Mm-hmm.
So love it. So then we get a pre-tape promo from the Bloodline. And okay, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I was just like, this pre-tape one, if this was all we saw of the Bloodline, this would have been perfect. But now we're starting to run into the problem like we did with when Roman was in charge, where we get multiple Bloodline segments. And I'm like,
Bloodline
what?
segments or segments about the Bloodline? Because now we also have this Cody RKO one that comes up later. We also have this other thing. So it's like, okay, we're starting to repeat what we did a year and a half ago.
And it was at this moment on the internet, after this promo aired live on SmackDown, we got the official poster for SummerSlam, which is this new Bloodline in a car, and the internet
going to McDonald's to get their
the internet
get their Happy Meals.
No time playing around with it. I was like, oh, I love the internet.
The memes are fantastic.
So good.
The Fast and the Furious poster is amazing.
The Barbie movie.
The Barbie movie one. There's a GTA one out there I saw the other day. I was like, these are so good.
That's the best thing that came out of this, because this promo is the same thing that we've gotten from Solo the last couple of weeks. So I was like, okay, we get it. Let's start to evolve the character more.
We got the Krusty Krab.
Yes, the Krusty
Fast X. The Barbie movie.
There was someone
Taco Bell.
Did you see the Star Wars one? There's a Star Wars one.
I saw the Star Wars one.
Star Wars one's really good.
There's the one at McDonald's. Yeah.
Again, the internet can be a scary place, but it can also be a place of amazing, wondrous things.
It's still undefeated.
It still is undefeated. But people who were not undefeated, though, this is where the first crunch of the night came in, because we get our tag team match next. Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews versus Legado del Fantasma, being represented by Angel and Berto. But pulling an Andrew here, we get Baron Corbin's entrance. Then we get this pre-taped interview with Andrade, in which Carmelo Hayes interrupts. I was like, okay, like I'm here for an Andrade Melo feud. Like I'm kind of here for that. I also I was like, hey, look at that. WWE actually put subtitles like other promotions.
Yeah. I absolutely appreciated it.
In other languages, I was like, there you go, WWE. We're catching up. I loved it.
I thought that was great.
Because we wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, like I said, I'm here for Andrade and Carmelo Hayes feud, honestly.
Yeah, I'm here for it too. What drives me nuts, and I guess I just have to grin and bear it, is Baron Corbin entrance. 10 minutes later, Apollo Crews' entrance. Legado del Fantasma comes down the ramp. Commercial. Match starts. There's like 15 minutes here between Baron Corbin and then the actual ding, ding, ding. Like, what are...
Well, at least it's better than watching Roman walk from the ring, from the entrance to the ring, and then do this. Then the other person comes out. By the time this whole thing happens, we would have got one Roman entrance, so they're getting better.
No, it has gotten better. It still kind of sucks, but it is. You're right. It is better. Yeah.
Well, I mean, now that we've gotten through all that chunk of this, let's talk about the match itself. Low key, you guys, I kind of like Apollo and Baron as a tag team.
I really like Apollo and Baron as a tag team. In fact, to the point where they kind of made Legado del Fantasma look very amateur in this match. They were not communicating well.
No, the crowd was so into Baron and Apollo.
They were friggin'
so fucking throwing each other over the top rope.
Apollo throws Baron Corbin.
He was a tall man, and
Baron has a moment where he looks to the folks on the ring. He looks at the two of them like, "You ready? Okay." And he goes, and Apollo gets all of him. Boom! And he just throws his ass over. Fantastic. Apollo Crews is great to watch. I like the tag team with the two of them. I thought they worked great. I'm wondering what Legado del Fantasma was doing. They were a step behind the whole time. And I'm not sure. They were missing cues. Baron's playing ring general, telling him, "Hey, go here. Hey, go here." You catch it a few times on camera. Like he's calling the spots and telling them, "Hey, run to this. Hey, run to that. Hey, go here." Consistently. So they were really in their head. At least that's how it came off to me. I know I'm just a bald guy on the internet, but
but you're our lovable bald guy on the internet.
Thank you. So that was rough. Sort of like, I'm not sure what that was about.
Right. I will say though, I did like Angel's finisher though. I was like, ooh, I haven't seen that before. That's kind of fun where it's just like very short, like that's a snug way to do like a sit down.
That was cool, yeah.
But poor Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews, low key by the end of this, I kind of wanted them to win, but that's okay.
I thought that would have been a great win for them, and just put more heat on. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it seems we might get an opportunity because it seems that we're not done with Legado and Baron and Apollo. Just give me more Apollo Crews on my television screen. This man has been he is so good, and he doesn't get utilized the way properly. So hopefully this means good things for him. Yeah. So then we cut backstage after this match. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven are still waiting at the office. Chelsea is slurping on her bedazzled cup, and then Piper is reading a book, How to Start a Cult. Like I was like, what is she reading? I was like, what is she reading?
What was like, great is the moment that happens right after. You'll get to this in a second. I thought was hysterical.
Well, let's talk about it. So as they're waiting in front of Nick Aldis's office, then singing from off camera, in comes Pretty Deadly, who reach for the doorknob, and Chelsea Green smacks their hand. Pretty Deadly explained to Chelsea and Piper they're here to see if Nick Aldis will fund the Pretty Deadly, the musical. And then Chelsea Green hits them with probably my favorite listen here, Sparkle Sisters.
Oh my God, so good.
Sparkle Sisters.
And then
Chelsea is so good.
Why does that sound like an actual tag team name from like the 80s?
Yes,
because it probably should have been. What's really great is I forget the name of which of the Pretty Deadly it was, but looks over Piper's shoulder and starts reading the book and goes, good point. Like, what?
This was funny. So Chelsea tells them get to the back of the line because nobody's getting in to see Nick before she does. And as she says this, out comes LA Knight on Nick Aldis's office. Right. I was just like, okay. And Chelsea chases down. LA is like, hey, is Nick still in his office? It's like, oh yeah, he's busy. He'll come get you later. But LA Knight, it's like, fat chance you're not gonna see him today. And then walks out. The LA Knight just exudes an aura that I was just like, this man. I hope we're about to witness greatness come SummerSlam, because again, the same argument I made during the TNA review is the same argument I'm making here. Now is the time to pull the trigger on an LA Knight title reign. Like, let's go. This man is not getting any younger, and I feel like he is so over. Now is the time to let him have this title reign.
I think I really wanted them to do it at Money in the Bank. I've been calling for it for 6 months or so. They're dragging their feet for some reason. I don't know how long they're going to let this Logan Paul thing go. We'll talk more about LA Knight in a minute. We got a segment coming up. It's frustrating. I'm not sure what they're doing with that guy.
Yeah. But, hopefully this is a sign of good things to come, and we'll talk about LA a little bit more in depth, because after this, we get a quick backstage segment with Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Randy explains to Cody and to the audience, and for those of us who may have not watched Money in the Bank, be like, hey, we're outnumbered here, but I have your back. Kevin always has your back, but he can't be here, reiterating the fact that Kevin Owens is with his family right now, given everything that KO had to deal with all last week and is still currently dealing with. I love that every time we get Cody and Randy just keeps staring at that title. I'm like, it's coming. It's coming very, very soon. Randy's going to turn on Cody, and it's going to be beautiful.
They're going to build. They're going to build
kick.
Something. Did you say porque?
No, punt kick.
Oh,
kick him in the head.
Porque.
That part too.
I'm intrigued. We'll see where it goes. I agree with what y'all were saying about John Cena retiring. Are we going to have one final RKO John Cena match for something at some point?
RKO versus John Cena. That's an interesting match.
You're just saying things out loud?
No, that's what you said.
That's what you said.
You said RKO versus John Cena.
Randall Keith Orton. Yes.
I'm repeating what you said.
His finishing move versus.
Well, it'll be hard because with John Cena, you can't see him.
That's true. You can't see him.
Randy Orton fights Peacekeeper.
That would be interesting billing if you put it that way completely.
That would be hilarious. But speaking of interesting billing, the man of the hour, the best part for me, this whole SmackDown, LA Knight gets in this ring, cuts his promo. This man just exudes charisma.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, call me. I'm just come on, listen. We're called the Biconics for a reason.
No,
anyways,
there was a year ago. You were calling him America's ass, which
the internet dubbed it, and they're not wrong.
Yeah, it's probably still true. He comes out, he cuts a fantastic promo with the contract, talking and calling out the Logan Paul. My heart wants LA Knight to get that title and give it a run because I'm pulling for him because he's my age, which means he's not getting any younger. He still looks fantastic. He's got the charisma. He could hold a title. He could hold any of the titles and do an amazing, amazing job. I feel like they're going to string this out as long as humanly possible because you got Logan Paul money and Prime money and just merchandise deals and content deals. Whatever contract they signed, I have a feeling it's Logan Paul as champion for the contract, which makes me sad because now you kind of screwed wrestlers and what they can and can't do, particularly someone like LA Knight, who just ran into that. I hope that's not true. It's what it feels like to me. I think they're going to keep screwing LA Knight over and over and over again.
I hope not. And I mean, even though Logan still needs to sign the contract, we at least have another match set for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
So, because as of right now, we have 3 matches official for SummerSlam. Damian versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Which is, my God.
That match is going to slap. I'm so excited.
Especially Damian coming wanting to show something now, like a fired up, focused Damian.
Getting a babyface Damian soon, and I'm kind of here for it. We also have Nia versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship, which should be fun and interesting how Tiffy time plays into that. And now we're getting LA Knight versus Logan Paul. And technically, we get another match set by the end of this too. And I called it at Money in the Bank. We're probably, spoiler alert, we're getting Cody versus Solo for the Undisputed Championship at SummerSlam, in which Roman Reigns is going to destroy everything, or Jimmy Uso, one of the two. which would be fantastic.
Coming back.
Maybe. I don't know.
But LA Knight's going to be closes this promo by stating that he's going to be hunting down Logan Paul to get Logan to sign this thing. And there's nowhere that Logan's going to run because, as we saw, LA Knight is great at B&E. This is the second time that he has trespassed on other people's property. First, it was with AJ, and now it's with Logan. Like, he got your number.
He seems to be known for something. That's good for him.
Yeah, for sure. So after this, we go to commercial, and then when we come back, shout out to whoever put this video package together, because we get this small little video package of Blair Davenport, and I'm just like, okay, give this person a raise, because I was like, wow. I was like, if you didn't know Blair before, I was like, yes, give this to me. This was a great little video package.
We'll talk about this. I love this video. This video is really solid. I like her. I like her a lot, which set the bar here, and they kind of missed the bar for what happened next. In my opinion.
Well, let's get into it. So next up, we have Blair Davenport versus Naomi, but again, pulling an Andrew here. We get Blair's entrance. Right. Then we get like a 10-minute recap of John Cena's retirement announcement for Money in the Bank. Right. Then we go back and we see Blair still waiting in the ring as her theme song is playing. And then we have Naomi come out and do her entrance. I'm just like, what in the world?
Yeah. Again, like 15 minutes, 10, 12 minutes in between. I don't hate it. And I know it's TV. I know you got to do advertising. I get it. If it makes it hard to watch when I'm just going to tune out and tune in. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old and curmudgeonly. I don't know.
Curmudgeonly?
Yeah, it's a way of saying old white person.
You're not a white person. We already established this. You have hidden Latino roots. I mean, your family's from Ensenada.
Not even that hidden. Like, it's if I did 23andMe, it would be, oh, you are a Mexican.
Breaking news: Professor is really Mexican.
I know. Don't let this fool you. I should do that. Maybe that's a YouTube video we have here on Biconics, is me doing the DNA test.
We all do a 23andMe.
That'd be wild. See, yeah, you come up as Irish and I come up as Mexican. Like, wait, what?
Or we do a spoof on it. We do 23andMe, but it's like 23 and oh yeah, brother, and then it's like a wrestler version of it.
23 and oh yeah, that would be fantastic. Anyway, with the tangent, we're not doing
23 and cream of the crop.
Ooh, the cream of the crop.
All right, well, I write this down as a skit video we can do later. Anyways, so see, we're trying to avoid this because I was mad at the crowd for this match, because this was actually a really fun match, but this crowd was non-existent. I was like, what happened, you guys? Like, where did this... I was like, did y'all expend your energy for Baron and Apollo's match? Because this was... Yeah.
I love Naomi. Huge Naomi fan. This match just fell flat to me. The crowd certainly didn't help, for sure. They just missed so many spots. They were not communicating in here.
I will also say that this match was very one-sided for the majority, because it was Blair destroying Naomi. I was like, Naomi, girl, get up. I know you can do this. Like, what is happening?
But Naomi waiting, right? Like Naomi being like, okay, I'm in my spot. Now come hit this thing. Now come hit this thing. Hey, come on, come hit this thing. Hey, come hit. Like, really trying to lead Blair through this. And I know Blair's better than that. It seemed like when it was Naomi's spot, when Naomi got the momentum, it was boom, boom, boom. It was there. It seemed like when Blair Davenport got it, she was like, and what's the next thing? And what's that? Really in her head, which I don't know what that could have been.
Yeah, and, I love Blair, but Naomi did pick up the win here. But what made me happy, though, is it seems that we're not done with Naomi and Blair, because promptly after this,
right?
Again, we're going to pull an Andrew real quick. We get into our main event wrestling match. This is for the WWE Tag Team Championships. I looked at the thing. I was like, we have like 30 minutes left. No way this match goes 30 minutes.
Right.
I was like, what is happening? But we get A-Town Down Under's entrance. Then we go to commercial. When we come back from commercial, we get the bumpers for next week's SmackDown. Then we get the small reunion of Black Girl Magic. And I love, in the background, we still see Pretty Deadly, Chelsea, and Piper. And then Bianca, like, not even turning to them, but tells Naomi, it's like, me and Jade came to talk to Nick to get a rematch for our tag titles, but he's not in his office. And in the background, everybody turns to the group, says this, and then they all get mad. Pretty Deadly goes off screen, and then Chelsea and Piper go inside the office and close the door, which is so hilarious.
I thought that was a really smart promo, the way they kind of did that. I'm trying to pull it up right now because there was something really funny they did, and I can't find the funny thing they did. It's taking too long.
Yeah. Our Sparkle sisters and Pretty Deadly went off to stage right, and then Chelsea and Piper went into the office. Jade and Bianca leave Naomi alone. Blair comes up, shakes hands with Naomi, says the better woman won. Chelsea and Piper come out, yell at Naomi like she didn't hear. She's like, Nick is not here. It's not in his office. And just like so upset as Piper and Chelsea leave, and Naomi's like, all right, well, whatever. Which then prompts Blair to attack Naomi from behind and just walk off. I was just like, oh boy, looks like we're going to get more Blair and Naomi, and I'm not going to be upset about it, honestly. I hope their next match is a little bit better.
I hope the next match is a little better. I'm not quite sure what was wrong there, if it was altered for time or whatever else. There's a sequence in the middle where Blair hesitates punching, and it's just sort of like, what do you, wow. It's just a few of these little weird like hiccup things that are going on here. This segment's awesome. It's like 5 different things, and everyone has an entrance and exit, and it's scripted, but it still feels fluid. Impressive. This is Triple H work in my on creative, right? We got this shot, we have this thing, It feels cinematic.
Again, and it's all in one shot. Like, we're not cutting to 50 million cameras. It's just one camera coming down the hallway and then widening it out enough to catch everybody in the background, as well as all the main players in the current scene on the foreground. Really I know my terms. I did art once.
There you go. Yeah. I love how it looks, and I keep giving it to me. It's great.
So, honestly, the backstage segments were kind of awesome this week. I loved it. Which sucks because the in-ring stuff was hit and miss this week. I was like, all right, fine. But let's get back to our main event wrestling match, because after all this is said and done, then DIY makes their entrance, and then the match gets underway. The best way I feel I could describe this match is 2 things. Number 1, this was the Spark Notes version of the match we got last week, because this is pretty much almost identical to what we had last week, just on a shorter constraint. And number 2, man, I don't know what's going on with the Australians this week, but Grayson kept missing a lot of the stuff he did. When he tried to do the DDT off the apron, but he slipped off of Tommaso Ciampa.
Yep.
And then he messed up later towards the end, a little bit. And the crowd even saw it and started saying, "You fucked up," when they were chanting it.
I thought
Grayson, man.
Yeah, Grayson goes for this DDT off the top and then just kind of lets him go and then falls.
Like baby oil slides right off.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. Johnny Gargano, I thought he was out because he jumped out of the ring and
Austin Theory, like he bounced. I was like, oh,
Austin Theory did not catch him. Austin Theory just kind of moved, and I'm not sure if that was what they were planning or whatever. Gargano hits his face on the orbital hard. And at the end of this match, which we'll talk about, he's swelling. Like he got messed up there. And he was holding his face. The camera cut away. We didn't see him again for another 3 or 4 minutes. I think he got checked by a doctor. It was like, oh, that's not good. There were some miscues in here. I'm not sure what happened. There was the other botch that you I don't want to say botch. That's not what I mean. Just miscue, I think, is better. Ciampa gets Austin in the face when he comes off the rope. He gets him hard flush right there. So they were hitting hard. I wonder if they just got too fired up for this. If they were just like, hey, let's go.
Yeah, I feel that's what I chalked up to, like, Grayson, like, not being able to hit certain things because it seemed like he was getting too pumped up and too excited. And actually all 4 of them were kind of like, I was like, all right, guys, I need to take it down a couple notches. Like, yeah. We got to find a way to control and channel that in the appropriate, channels, so to speak, because the match itself wasn't bad. I was like, I like seeing DIY, and I can't believe I'm saying this. I've enjoyed A-Town Down Under and their shenanigans going up against DIY, But again, this was a shorter version of what we got last week, and everyone was like on 10, and everyone just needed to take it down to like a 7.
I think that the second half of this, they started breathing and took a little bit more time. They made Johnny Gargano look 10 times bigger than he is, right? Like he was throwing these two around.
Seriously.
That
Loved
spear between the ropes was fantastic.
Woo, so there's so good.
Some great stuff here that second half. That first half, someone could have gotten hurt at any moment. Like they were way fast and loose the first half of this. So it didn't make me, it's not like I would take points away from this, but it was definitely like, whoa, take a breath, hang on.
Breathe, kids, breathe.
It's good for you. Breathe.
Air is your friend sometimes.
Goodness.
Stop trying to kill each other and do it right.
I know. Stop trying to kill each other and do it right. It was like, kill each other later, not now. Kill each other at a pay-per-view, not in the middle of a television match, but
it's just a SmackDown. It's just a SmackDown.
But you know
Jake
what?
Batu comes out and kills everybody.
Well, before we talk about all that craziness, Jacob Fatu literally is the star right now. But towards the end of this match, Grayson ended up losing this match for, A-Town Down Under again because miscommunication city, because him and Austin tried to do their thing and mock DIY's finisher, but are unsuccessful in hitting it. Grayson goes to do the knee strike to Tommaso, who moves out of the way. Shout out to Austin Theory for selling the hell out of that knee strike. And then I saw the phlegm come out. I was like,
whenever he spit out of his mouth, I was like, ew, gross.
But I was like, hey, it added to the effectiveness of like those knee strikes are vicious, man. It's crazy. Which then allowed DIY to hit their finisher on Grayson. So Grayson, for the second time in 2 weeks in a row, was the reason why A-Town Down Under lost the championships. DIY are still their champs. Grayson and Austin are arguing, but then Grayson gets the heck out of Dodge because he sees what's coming down the ramp. And then Jacob Fatu, the Samoan werewolf, just destroys everybody. Destroys Austin, destroys DIY.
The catch he did to catch Grayson, he caught somebody. Johnny Gargano, he caught him off the springboard into the Samoan drop. Was beautiful.
Oh, that was so good. Yo, Jacob Fatu is killing it, and he's only been here for like 3 weeks.
That's what you're right. He catches him in that Samoan drop, which looks devastating. The internet is misleading because there's some folks that love that he's just showing up and destroying everyone and running through everybody. And there's people out there who are going to start to do that. Well, don't do what you did with Goldberg thing where you just make them invincible for too long.
Right.
That's playing the hot hand, and not that they're not doing that at all. I don't feel like.
I feel that what they're doing with Jacob is similar to the early couple of months, because literally Jacob Fatu is this 2024 version of Umaga, and essentially that's where I'm drawing my comparison, because Umaga just destroyed the roster for the first couple of months, build him up as his monster, and then start having him feud with titles and stuff, and then that's when he started to lose a little bit, but it didn't really affect him too much. Like Umaga versus Cena is still the feud that I love when it comes to like the 2000s era of wrestling. Like that feud was fantastic, and one of the few times John Cena's lost in his this wasn't quite Super Cena yet, but him and Umaga went back and forth. So I'm hoping that Triple H knows what he's doing. It's like, Jacob Fatu is the modern day Umaga. Let this kid be a monster, destroy folks, and then eventually let him go down the line for a singles title, because I think Jacob can handle it.
Yeah, I think so. And what's interesting is he's kind of showing up Tangaloa and Tamatonga, right? Like,
let's be all the way real. Jacob Fatu is upstaging both the Gorillas of Destiny and Solo Sikoa at this
absolutely.
point.
Sure. You're absolutely
a weekday.
We've kind of pivoted away from
Wish.com.
What's the other thing we said?
Temu
weekend?
It's the weekday Temu version.
He's shown up and been so athletic, so over, so fast, so scary that we just completely pivoted away from the Gorillas of Destiny. Right? We chose to give them way less.
Well, I mean, because we're talking about just Jacob Fatu destroying DIY and Austin Theory, but we do got to talk about what really ended the show. Because when Jacob comes out, it's like, we have 20 minutes. Don't tell me this is going to be a 20-minute segment. And we got like a couple minutes of commercial, but this ended up being like a 15-minute segment. I'm like, all right, fine. Yep. So we have the whole entire bloodline in the rings, the weekday Solo Sikoa. Then we have the Gorillas of Destiny and the Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu. Run down the list of people because Solo, I know what you were going for in this promo, but sir, it's only really 2 people who have not listened to you and got destroyed from it. Jimmy Uso.
Before we get too far, he says some ass. He doesn't say Worcester. He doesn't say Massachusetts. He says some ass. And everyone's just kind of, yeah.
I mean, in some capacity, all of us like some ass. I was like, oh, okay, well, all right.
My goodness, and
sorry, we know Nigel McGuinness is infiltrating my brain now.
we know Solo's pretty good on the mic. We know he can get angry face and do better. I think he's trying too hard with these.
This was off to a rocky start when he said that. I was like, here we go.
He's in this sort of, I'm going to pace back and forth. I'm going to be the bad guy. Now I'm going to play the bad guy. And it's
some ass.
And it's starting to dilute him a little bit, right? When he was just, I'm the song silent type. I'm going to say what I need to say. But now he's kind of yelling at the audience in a way. He's coming off a little more, what's a good word? Do I have a fancy word for this? No. It's just coming off petty and childish now. And then he said, he looked at the crowd and went, you don't deserve Roman.
Because he doesn't want to.
Exactly. Doesn't that usurp everything you're saying? You don't deserve Roman. That's why I'm here. No, it's the inverse. I'm here because I'm better than the rhetoric of this is like it's all.
See, when he said that, I had to pause and I had to think about this for a little bit because I'm like, I feel like we skipped some steps in character progression here.
Yes,
I was like, you guys have been kind of running SmackDown since Roman lost at WrestleMania, and. I mean, so you have lost in some capacity, but y'all shouldn't be saying you don't deserve Roman. Like, yes, beating Cody and having Cody get pinned, like that is a big thing for Solo to do. It's like, absolutely love that. But I feel that I personally feel like we skipped a couple steps in character development because if you're going to use the trope of a heel who just starts to develop this big ego because he got one massive win compared to all the losses that he has had so far, I feel that should be a slow burn. But again, because we are literally like 2-3 weeks away from SummerSlam, we got to like cram all this character development in the span of like 2 weeks, which kind of dilutes and progresses things too fast. And if you don't have the right person who knows how character work and character development is, it's going to come off as like what we saw for this first half before Cody came down.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about it. I think Cody kind of saves this promo. And which Cody tends to do because Cody is pretty charismatic and he could sort of stand there, be confident, and point and shoot and say the words he needs to say. It was an obvious bloodline ending. I'll put it that way. It's sort of like we've seen this sort of tropey bloodline cleaning house, put you through the table thing before. This was a different flavor, which I appreciated. But not nearly. For those of us who've been watching for a long time, I've seen this play out. I've seen almost the exact same thing play out. It's just the characters have shifted and moved, and so that's unfortunate. But like you said, what do you want him to do? We got 2 weeks.
Seriously. Okay, so like to give some context to the fans that are watching this or might tune into this later. Yeah. So it is currently Sunday, July 14th. To give you a prospect of where our pay-per-view schedule is heading, this week on the 20th, we have TNA Slammiversary happening, and the review will be the following day. Then Friday, in 2 weeks, July 26th, is Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor, which is that Friday. Sunday, GCW has Bloodsport, which I'm super excited for in 2 weeks. Andrew is actually going to be leading through us through that watch-along and the review. So Andrew is taking the lead position, which I'm super happy for our boy. But after those things are done, that's 2 weeks worth. Then the following week, the week number 3, is the final week of Raw and SmackDown Go Home shows before SummerSlam on Saturday. Like, we are 3 weeks away from SummerSlam, and you are cramming all this character development, which should take months, into 3 weeks.
Yep.
So, and let's just get into it. So, Professor, you were alluding to it earlier. Cody comes down and kind of saves this promo. But again, this is a Cody promo. Take it with a grain of salt, with what you will. Some folks like Cody. Some folks still have a disdain for him. But regardless, he saved this promo, and you can at me and we'll fight about it. But the important things that Cody says in this is really, even though Nick has to approve it, we get our 4th match for SummerSlam, which we already kind of saw the writing on the walls leading into summer. Cody versus Solo Sikoa for the undisputed WWE Championship will be happening at SummerSlam. I think the match will be baller, and who knows what kind of shenanigans are going to go down there. But the bloodline surround Cody, and I was like, okay, I see where this is going. And then Randy Orton comes out, and then they pulled a swerve, not a Strickland, but
how? Oh, that'd be amazing.
I know. A swerve Strickland comes out. So the bloodline pull a swerve, not Strickland. And they tie Cody up in the ropes and make him watch as they brutalize, demolish, and destroy Randy Orton. And by the end of this, I was just like, please don't let us find out that Randy's going to be out for another 18 months because he got slammed in the back multiple times. I'm like, not his back, you guys. We just got Randy back.
The moment Corey Graves said that, I was like, no. Isn't it when they were talking about the echoes of Solo ruining RKO and he was out for 18 months? I was like, no, don't do that. So I think they were pretty safe for the most part. Power bombs through tables, especially when you're 6'5", like he, probably not the worst thing they could have done. Still, there's risk involved, sure. We've seen this. We've seen this exact same thing. We've just shifted the characters around, and how we got here is slightly different. So I don't hate it. Like I just said, what else are you gonna do? You got 2 weeks. You got to push for something. But I think you could have taken a creative risk here. I think you could have done something a little more fun. I mean, for lack of a better term, like you could have done this a few different ways. You kind of chose the straightforward, safe, let's get this done now way, which I respect. We could have done this. I'm thinking of, we could have done this, well, like you did Drew and CM Punk not too long ago. You could have put a murder through an arena and had them walk through. You have the ideas for this stuff. You could have done an empty arena thing. You could have had, I know Kevin Owens is with family, but you could have played that arc a little bit. Sorry, I'm allergic to tropey things. So I don't I feel like you could have done a little more here. I'm hoping SmackDown takes the risk next week. We'll see.
Well, I mean, I was just like, Cody's just like, no, don't do that to him. Pick me instead. I'm like, sir, this is not a horror movie.
Yeah, this is like, take me. I'm like, okay.
I was like, sir, Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Ghostface, like, you're not watching some sadistic, like, psychological horror movie.
Father Karras from The Exorcist, take me. Yeah.
It was like, this is not Pinhead. This is not the Saw movies. Like, you need to calm down. Yo, though, the way that Solo be dressing, though, all you gotta do is put a Billy the Puppet mask on, and there you go. We have.
I mean, yeah, and for those of us who are a certain age, this has "Are You Afraid of the Dark" all over it.
Yes, Professor, you are now my new. You have jumped up in the ranks as my favorite host because.
Oh, you're too kind. Could you
listen? As a '90s child, there was that, and then the Animorphs. Like,
you get the Bloodline and the Wyatt family to that "Are You Afraid of the Dark" theme. There's your There's your PLE. I'll watch that every time.
We have a special "Are You Afraid of the Dark" match.
It's just one game. We do the match thing. Everything's pitch black.
There's a bonfire in the middle.
Tonight's story is the Wyatt family.
And and you know what? If you put this pay-per-view up, WWE, we're giving you free ideas. If you put this pay-per-view idea in the middle of October, you could do like horror movie, like spoofs for posters, and like you can have Jacob Fatu be like a Samoan werewolf in London kind of thing. Like, let's go.
There's your hook.
That's the promotional poster. That's what Bad Blood should be in October. It's just like a Samoan werewolf.
The Samoan werewolf in London. That's brilliant.
And he doesn't even need the prosthetics. He's just scary.
All right, it looks like we're changing up Bad Blood, guys, in November.
Yeah, forget Bad Blood.
That would be so good.
We just need some fun campiness. But you know what? I'll leave that to NXT because they have Halloween Havoc in October, which is also fun.
That's cool, yeah.
Bring
back Shotzi. Bring back Shotzi as soon as possible.
Yes, hopefully her recovery is doing really well because I want to see her back. But gentlemen, that brings us to this week's end of SmackDown. The Bloodline standing tall as Cody's still tied up in the ropes and Randy Orton is just murdered on the floor. Yeah. So let's give our Empanada ratings. I'll go first. And this is not a bad thing because I love all the talent involved, but I gotta call it as I do. I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10 SmackDown for me. I didn't think this was a bad SmackDown, but it was very middle of the road post Money in the Bank. A lot of wrestlers in the matches tonight were very in their heads. There was some miscommunication spots. People were going to either one step too ahead or one step behind in certain matches. And we're slowly getting more oversaturation with the Bloodline. And we were doing good up until this point. Right. But hopefully, with 3 weeks left until SummerSlam, SmackDown will be able to kind of just iron some stuff out and take it the way that it needs to without throwing X, Y, and Z every single show we get. I was like, all right, calm down, slow it down. Like, we're good. It's fine. But I give this a 6 out of 10. Professor, I will call upon you next. How do you rate this week's SmackDown?
I'm kind of right there with you. I wanted way more out of this. This is like a 5.5, almost 6. It is very sort of average by the book, which is tough. And this isn't me trying to. We're 55 minutes in. I'm not trying to shit on any promotions. Wrestling in a way is kind of like theater in which you kind of have to see it live, right? If I was live in the seats, I would have a totally different rating. I'd be biased in a way, and I would mention that, right? As far as cutting this together and editing this together, the way it followed, it's very sort of. I knew where you were going, and a lot of things weren't as enthusiastic as I think they could have been. All the Chelsea Green, Pretty Deadly, Piper stuff, Black Girl Magic, all that worked for me, which is rare. LA Knight in the contract going towards SummerSlam, that's great. That works for me. The hesitation in the matches was odd. I'm not used to seeing that from such great professionals. We also had some matches here where I'm sort of like, why are we doing this? We're doing this again. Don't you have a whole roster of folks you could do so much more with? What are we trying to do here? I will say probably the best thing that came out of the SmackDown are the memes from the SummerSlam announcement, because they have changed the course of the summer. And I can't wait to see what else comes out of those memes over the coming 2 or 3 weeks or so. So, yeah, 5.5, almost 6.
And then, of course, last and certainly not least, Miniford. What do you do this week's
Do you remember this one? Do you remember what happens here?
Meh. That's my rating. Compared to the past couple SmackDowns we had, this has been very meh.
I think that's what it is. We had a string of.
This was a SmackDown that happened. This is one of the SmackDowns of all time.
We had a string of like 8, 9, and then one that should have been a 10 out of 10, but everyone kind of ruined it. And now we got this one. It's like, that sucks.
So it's like, it's there. Hey guys, SummerSlam's in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still excited for SummerSlam, but SmackDown did not do a good job of making me want.
It was, some ass.
So ass. And this could be, and I'm not defending, but this could be a whole host of things. It could be folks taking time off after Money in the Bank. It could be who's traveling, who's not traveling. Obviously, Kevin Owens is with family. There's all kinds of angles and stuff that we're never going to know. And if you bought tickets to this and you had a good time, you saw it live, more power to you. Fantastic. I'm glad you got to go. When they edited this and put it up,
yeah, it's definitely unfortunate for sure. But, that's going to bring us to the end of this week's SmackDown. We will be back next week. No promises, but I'm going to see if we are going to have our lovely guest that appeared last week to come back next week, too. And then we'll have a 4-person SmackDown review, which is kind of crazy. And also, stay tuned next week because I will have a special announcement in regards to the status of BC WrestlePod that is happening very, very shortly. All good things, nothing bad, I promise. But that is going to be it for us here at the Friday Night Faction.
Do we know this news?
Yeah.
Check the group chat. Grab the group chat, man. Oh yeah.
I'll tell you off camera, but it's all good things, I promise.
We got all kinds of cool stuff to talk about.
I probably
we got
know
lots
it.
of things
I
that are
most likely
happening.
know it. I don't know. I wanted to.
But that is going to be it for this week's Friday Night Faction review from myself, the Professor, Mitty, and the rest of the BC WrestlePod family. Remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay biconic, but more importantly than anything, you deserve to finish your story. So, as always, adios, sayonara. We'll catch you later. And Minnie, what is the thing we do here?
JVL, I still won't watch Ring of Honor.
Yes, that part.
Because I wanted to.
See you all next week. Bye-bye.